Welcome back to First Take. Some breaking news from ESPN's Shams Charania. The NBA's attempts to clamp down on tanking has reached a new level. The league presented 3 anti-tanking proposals this week, with each being radically different from one another in one crucial way. So each of these 3 proposals will bring more teams into the NBA draft lottery, including playoff-bound teams. A formal vote is expected to come in May. So there's a lot to each of these proposals. We don't have time to go through all of the nitty-gritty, so I encourage you, go read the story over at ESPN.com for more context. But Stephen A., these proposals seemed designed to incentivize winning and discourage tanking, which we know the NBA is pushing right now. What do you think's going to be the outcome?
Well, listen, I think that some modifications have taken place. Remember, this is their 6th bite at the apple. They've tried this 5 times. 5 different times they've tried to make changes to incentivize teams to avoid trying to tank. And this has been dating back to the 90s, 2026, and it's still an issue. So it speaks to a problem that simply won't go away, and we understand that. There's a 3rd proposal. There were 3 different proposals, and the 3rd proposal involved a 5x5 methods. 5x5 method, according to Shams Charania. And it says the same 18 teams from the first proposal. You got, teams that made the play-ins plus the teams that missed the play-in and playoffs all together. And of that group, the bottom 10 that missed the play-in plus the 8 teams that make it would be entered into a lottery. Teams with the 5 worst records would then all have the same odds, with them descending from there. I kind of like that one a little bit more than the others, but I also think that it really comes down to this when all is said and done. Nothing matters if you have an owner that doesn't prioritize winning. And here's what I mean by that. It's one thing when you know you stink. And if you stink, but it positions you to get a high draft pick and you can get a marquee player, a la San Antonio with Tim Duncan, what Boston tried to do at one point, along with other teams, the David Robinsons of the world, et cetera, et cetera. This has happened before. It's one thing when that's the reason that you're trying to do it for that 1 year. Here's what I'm saying, Courtney. There are owners in the league that don't care whether they win a championship or not. They want to be good enough to compete, but in the same breath, don't prioritize winning a championship. As long as we're relevant, okay, and we're highly competitive, I'm good. So if you are an organization, I'm certainly not accusing the Clippers of this, not with Steve Ballmer, but I'm using an organization as an example because of all the years that Donald Sterling was there when he was a cheap miser and what have you, before rules implemented that mandated you got to spend at least 85% up to, the salary cap and stuff like that. I'm looking at certain situations and I'm saying it's one thing for an owner to chase a championship. It's another thing for an owner to do everything he can to avoid going all out, doing just enough to remain competitive, but in the same breath not going all out because they're prioritizing keeping the money in their pocket and making sure that they're churning, they're making money every single year as opposed to losing some money. Joe Lacob is not that dude. Joe Lacob has lost. He will unapologetically tell you the money that he has spent and he has put out just to compete for championships and how committed that he spent years being to that cause. And you have a lot of owners that don't think like that. They just want to be competitive, in the mix, making money. And if they don't win, it doesn't matter to them. You can't do anything with those owners when it comes to tanking. You just can't, because they don't care. They just don't want to lose money. That's their thing. There's nothing you could do with an owner that has that mentality.
The analogy I've always used is it's a high school dance. Some teams just want to be invited and have a date. Some teams want to be prom king or prom queen. And it takes a lot of effort to be prom king or prom queen.
Out there and get Mikal Bridges to measure up to snuff, who, by the way, in 32 minutes last night, Big Perk, had 0 rebounds. 0. Come on, y'all. Get it together. Let's get it together.
S.A., I agree with every single word you just said. I don't want you to think that I was just looking down to brush you off. I was actually looking down to look at who did they beat in that 7-game win streak, during that 7-game win streak. The Pacers, the Nets, the Wizards, the Pelicans. I mean, We're talking about teams that's supposed to be teams that are trying to lose. Okay, that's number one. Josh Hart, if I was you, I would keep the main thing the main thing. And you know what the main thing at this moment is? Is to play the game of basketball at a high level. Because correct me if I'm wrong, didn't the owner Dolan come out about a month ago and said about the expectations for us this squad this year is to get to the NBA Finals and basically win the championship? That means the pressure is on, Josh Hart. That means that you guys are on the clock. And I'm going to tell you this. If you're looking at the rest of the teams, that's about, 6 through 10. Some of those teams that's going to have to fight to get in the play-in tournament. There's so many scenarios. We don't know how it's going to shape out. But I'm going to tell you 3 teams that's going to be there, in my opinion. The Hornets, who they just lost to. The Philadelphia 76ers, who just got Joel Embiid and Paul George back and probably about to get Tyrese Maxey back. And the Atlanta Hawks, who have been balling, led by Jalen Johnson, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and C.J. McCollum. Right now, I'm going to just keep it a buck with you. I don't trust the Knicks. I believe that they could. I believe that they could get put out in the first round. I don't trust the New York Knicks. I trusted them last year when they was led by Tom Thibodeau because it was a level of accountability there. But all season long, SA, what have we been coming up here saying? They have identity crisis. They can't get it right consistently on the defensive side of the things. Defense is going to take you over the hump. Defense is what win you championships. And when you look at the way the Celtics are playing right now, the way they sent the message the other night, how they beat Oklahoma City, Detroit been playing good basketball without their superstar in the mix in Cade Cunningham. Obviously, Cleveland is under a lot of pressure. Josh Hart, you better step up and deliver because I'm going to tell you another thing. You know who wants to be in New York, right? It's a man by the name of Giannis Antetokounmpo. You know right now him and the Bucks are not on the same page. In order to get Giannis Antetokounmpo to New York this offseason, they're going to have to give up some pieces. So that means that every single player on this roster outside of Jalen Brunson is auditioning to stay on the New York Knicks. So Josh Hart, you sure you want to tell people to be quiet? And let me tell you this, Stephen A. I went on Jalen Brunson podcast. During the All-Star break, and we had a discussion about podcasting and playing the game of basketball. And I told him that you need to limit as much distractions as you possibly can because you're on the verge. If you win a championship in a New York Knicks uniform, in my opinion, you're going to be the greatest Knick ever. So they need to keep the main thing the main thing.
The main thing. Listen, they invited me on the podcast for some reason. I've been busy. I guess they think I'm hiding or something. Oh, no. They don't understand. I show up. So, you know what? To Josh Hart's face, I will tell him exactly what I said. I don't have a problem. I mean, I love the guy. He's a good guy and a damn good player. And Jalen Brunson is a superstar in this game. But the bottom line is, y'all ain't playing up to snuff. And you don't get to sit up there and call somebody a part-time Knicks fan that's been a Knicks fan for over 55 damn years on this earth. And you 31. I was a Knicks fan 24 years before you were born. You need to sit down. And in the end, what it comes down to is this. You come into the defense of your boy, Mikal Bridges. I'm not rooting against him. I'm rooting for him. I know what he did against Boston. I know the brother could play, but you're not measuring up to snuff. And when they give up the assets that they've given up for you, this is when we talk about, here's what people